Alright, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and for this video I wanted to give you guys a first look at ARES. As many of you guys know, I was very excited to see this guy come into the game. I was one of the few people who were really looking forward to this edition, and I haven't made like a video on ARES, right? A couple days ago I streamed my building process of ARES and we did some testing over there, but I know most of you guys, you don't have time to sit through an hour stream, so you see the timer on that thing and you're like, nah bro, I ain't got the time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So hold up. Ooh, nice. Double back. I was gonna say, so some of you guys are probably just wondering why I didn't do a video to showcase some of the highlights of this guy. So that's what we're doing today. Alright, just basically showing off ARES. I don't think he's the greatest character, but he's pretty good. He's very fun. He's not perfect by any means. You're gonna see a couple things that go wrong with him, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. For those of you guys who are wondering how I already have him built up and I claim to be boycotting, and he's not free to play per se, he's a bio sub character, I'm gonna insert a clip from the stream of me building this guy, so you'll see that I built him up entirely for free. I didn't spend no money. I just used stuff I already have, and if you're free to play, you will be able to get him, and you will have the means to get him to tier 2, and you will need to get into tier 2 at some point, because to get molecule, man, ARES needs to have his tier 2. Right? So a couple things with ARES, right? His forward skill, because it roots him in place, it's not an iframe or anything like that. Bosses can just easily walk out of that skill by just moving far enough away from him, or if they jump into an iframe. So because of that, and because that skill actually does relatively decent amount of damage, and for like playing him optimally and keeping him alive and stuff, I kind of need to use that skill if I want to clear high level content. I find that using him with somebody with some CC like Scarlet Witch or Rachel Summers is a good idea, right? So I usually go 3, get the buff from the 3, get the immunity from the 3, slam down a bit, then transition into the 5. The 5 has a really big attack buff, but even the 5 is not perfect, right? Even the 5 is not perfect, because the 5 has you standing in place where, yes, you have super armor, so you are not going to be guard broken. You have invincibility up. That is awesome. However, the boss can jump into an iframe. Okay, the boss can jump into an iframe and just pull you out of the skill before you get all of the effects and all the damage, right? Because it starts off, oh, finally this guy decided to run to the top. I don't know what took him so long there. It's probably in a daze. All right, so let's just wait until he does this. I wish Goblin had a buff kind of like Fury, so we could catch up whenever we go behind in terms of clear speed. But anyways, the 5th skill has you rooted in place while you're blasting with your minigun, and like you just saw there, we didn't get the entirety of the, ooh, okay, that's annoying, the entirety of the 5th skill, because he canceled us out before we jumped into the iframe and slammed down with the minigun and stuff, right? So pretty annoying that that happens from time to time, and it could basically happen enough to make it so that you go from being able to clear a stage to not being able to clear a stage. So right here, I'm blasting, I jump up into the iframe, I slam down, I didn't get the full damage because the boss jumped into an iframe, so that's unfortunate. Scarlet popped out to help us with the 4th skill there. We jump into the 5th. We might actually die here. Oh, really good thing about ARES is he heals. He has that Wolverine heal built into him. Okay, good thing we did not actually stand in place there. So you can see somebody like Scarlet is an essential for him until he gets in his awakened skill. Maybe he doesn't need it after that point. The awakened skill will just do so much damage, we'll see, but it's only 65% defense down, so just keep that in mind. He does have a little bit of defense down in his kit natively, but 69 is actually pretty good, right? Most people were just expecting him to come to the game and just be a wash, right? Because he's a combat character, but I think ARES is pretty good. Like, I do think he's pretty good. Is he Moon Knight level? I don't think so. Will he ever be Moon Knight level? Probably not. Moon Knight has a uniform, and a very good one, arguably one of the best uniforms we've ever seen in the game. But for a character like coming in without a uniform, honestly, I think Ares has one of the best kits we could possibly have hoped for. Like, the leadership is not the greatest, 30% is pretty standard, right? The awakened skill only stacks up to 65% defense down, which is not like Mystique level, right? Mystique, as many of you guys know, where's my girl, she has 70%, right? So just a little bit less than Mystique, but it's still pretty good, right? Moon Knight right here, he also has that 70% drip. So not gonna really be on those guys level, but still 65 is pretty good. Additionally, Ares has the same type of effects as Namor, right? Namor gets base 25% crit damage, but that's fine, we can fill in ooze for that. But the 30% crit chance, right, and the guaranteed crit and the critical strikes being 100% stronger is a pretty big deal, and Ares has all of those. They're distributed differently. As you can see, like on his tier 2 passive, he has very similar effects to Namor, but they're on a timer. But he does get a bit more. He gets super armor, all defense, skill damage, and bonus damage, which is a lot. 40-30, that's really good. Right, and then he has 100% chance to increase critical damage by 100%. That is a 100% chance. With Namor, you can see Namor hits really hard, but Namor only has a 30% chance. He has a 100% chance. So it will be very interesting to see if this guy gets a uniform, like how much stronger he becomes, right? Will he get to the level where he's like toe to toe with Namor? Because I don't think his awakened skill will do that. Well, it might because of the defense down. It might because of the defense down for like certain bosses. But either way, very good tier 2 passive. Honestly, I think one of the best we could hope for. The only thing better than this is just if it was on no cooldown. But the cooldown is 15 seconds, right? And the duration is 10 seconds. So there's only going to be like 5-second increments, when most of the time you're like kiting or whatever. So the 5 seconds is going to go by pretty quickly. 1 and 2, pretty much garbage. We don't really use those for nothing around these parts, right? The third skill though, really good. Guaranteed crit rate, 30%. You don't see this very often. I wouldn't say this is like the greatest thing, right? They could have just made it so it was up here and it wasn't on a cooldown. I think when they do give him a uniform, they'll make it so that all these effects that are on cooldown are just passively there. That's an easy way for them to like improve this guy without doing too much, right? Guaranteed crit rate, you don't usually see this as something you actually have to activate, and that's why we start off with a third, because 30% more guaranteed crit rate is very good. That means it's always going to be there. Additionally, his fourth skill has a little bit of defense down, so that's why we kind of want to use it. It's 8 seconds and it's a 14-second cooldown, so 7 seconds. You can use this pretty much all the time. And then on top of that, 40 40 40, really good, right? 40% more all attack. Now because of that and because of the invincibility, some people might find it best to just go 3-5, but if you go 3-5, what do you use in between? Because the 4 doesn't have anything to protect you, and you're just slamming that axe on the ground like a madman. But you can see you're not in the iframe, and you can't keep the bosses rocked like how he's able to rock these minions. So that's not a very good idea. So for me, my rotation is always going to include 3. Just get that buff and then just slam. You see the immunity, it lasts until I jump back into the iframe. So very good rotation in my personal opinion. I am completely safe, and then I transition into another skill that is very safe. As you can see, he jumps up and the skill just gets better. Like the 5th skill starts off as a really cool skill. He's firing his minigun or his machine gun or what have you, and he slams it down at the enemy, throws a grenade in there, just blow their asses up, and he's safely in an iframe. So really good. The risky part of the skill is when it first begins. You can be stripped of your buffs and stuff. You can be stripped of your invincibility if you get hit by the purifying wind, and the boss can stab you up, and all that good stuff can happen, right? Well, I say good sarcastically. All right, so all that stuff can happen, but overall pretty good kid on him. He has the immortal body, so he can heal. It's kind of crazy to think that the best passive for healing in the game is still on, where is this guy? Abomination at 6%. Where is he? Yeah, Crazy. He has better healing than Wolverine and now Ares. But okay, Abomination, do you, bro? Let me jump in here. I'll show you guys a quick run against Proxima. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Let me see. I want to do it without strikers, so we'll drop it down to like 50 and do like a speed run, if you will. I'm not gonna use any strikers to like I didn't even need anti-venom, but I'm not gonna use any strikers to CC the boss, and I'm just gonna show you guys. Oh, I didn't show you the obelisk. I'll show you that as well. All right, so let's just go 3, 5, slam. This is what's gonna happen. Proxima just moves out of range, so that's why I use Scarlet Witch to like basically keep her in place. Well, not her, but like to keep bosses in place, right? Okay, so my proc is off, and that's also something that you need to consider whenever his skills get canceled, because it's such a okay, like that. I use the 5th skill, I spin or whatever. I tried to spin around, and then she basically just moved out of range. She moved out of range again. He doesn't have paralysis. He doesn't have anything that he can use to keep the boss in check. I do think they should have given him paralysis. All right, like right there again. So these are the flaws, right? These are the flaws that you basically cover up with strikers. Well, it's a major flaw, right? But he's still pretty good. Like being able to heal himself and having invincibility and immunity will, I guess, keep you alive long enough so even if this constantly happens to you, you're still not gonna just drop dead, right? So I guess a good idea would be like have her like position right next to the wall so that when she runs away, she's still within range of your attacks, right? So I'm not gonna sell you on a dream and say, oh, he's the strongest character in the game and you absolutely need him. No. Is he fun? Yes. Is he interesting? Yeah. But do you need him? No. Okay, really? You're gonna do this again? He's fast though. Yeah. Can outrun Proxima Spears, which these days, okay, come on, really? The 3rd skill took the proc? The 3rd skills of all the skills to take the proc? Okay, look at that. Jump into an iframe. So Ares is not a man without flaws, guys. Alright, so nice full iframe on the 5th skill at the end there. So like otherwise I would have been clapped by those spears. Now let me say this, you guys are looking at this and you're like, whoa, he's struggling so hard to do 50. The thing is, I could easily clap this 50 by just giving him actually I could do 60. I was testing it on stream. I could do 60 if I just gave him the mind control. That's how much of a difference it really makes for him. Like you can see just how many times I was interrupted here just by giving him Rachel or Scarlet or what have you, just to give him a little bit of mind control. It would propel him to like at least 10 levels, which is what I tested on stream. So that's why you saw like at the beginning here I was up at 60 and I had like the strikers in there. I didn't really need anti-venom for anything, but yeah, I do think mind control strikers are going to be a thing that you need to consider when you play this guy, because that's very frustrating when you're trying to clear stuff and your skill just constantly get interrupted. I think that 4 seconds of stun there should have been 4 seconds of paralysis or stun that just works on world bosses as well. Before you go, I forgot to show you guys the custom gear. This is what we're rocking. So none of what you saw today was with a CTP. We're just using a regular crit damage obelisk with a 160 proc, and these are the substats. All right, cool. And for those of you guys who are wondering how I got 10 bios for Ares, there's a couple different ways we can get Ares, right? I'm just making this very clear because, as most of you guys know, I'm free to play. I've been free to play for the past like month and a half, and I don't see myself spending any more money on the game until they fix the game. And as of right now, there's only a couple ways you can get bios for Ares, though. That's the reason why it's taken me so long to make this video. A bunch of people have been hitting me up asking me to showcase Ares because I was very fond of him in the APK. So some people are wondering why, even after like what, 2 weeks basically, I still haven't made a video on him. The reason for that is very simple. I'm not done the epic quest yet, or I'm not even to the point where you get 10 bios for him. If you wait until you get to God of War, you get 10 bios for Ares to unlock him. But because of the fact that these guys just want you to spend crystals so badly, they put all these annoying research missions in here and all these missions where you spend a bunch of energy, and it's really tedious and boring. So I'm not really trying to push through this. So what I did for my Ares is actually play this mission right here, and I just basically kept closing the game every time I didn't get a shifter that was Ares, right? So every time Ares didn't pop in as a shifter for me, I basically just closed the game, opened it up, re-entered the mission, and I did that for 5 days and basically got 10 bios for him. So that's how I'm gonna be building up my Ares. I'm gonna just unlock him real quickly here, and from this point on, it's completely up to you what you want to do. I know most of you guys are gonna ask me right away if I think he's worth a mega tier 2 advancement ticket, because if you're free to play, that's gonna be your only option, right? You're gonna have to drop tickets on this man or farm him from the epic quest from now until the end of time. On the plus side, if you do farm him all year long, forever, right, there should be a mission that pops up later on in the epic quest, kind of like with Victorious, and at some point you end up having this many bios. Even though I've never ever purchased the bio sub and chosen Victorious, as you can see, I have over 1,000 of her bios just chilling there, right? So at some point, your collection of biometrics for Ares will look like this. So just keep that in mind, but it would probably be better to just use rank up tickets on him. And so what I'm gonna do for mine is actually use a 6-star mega rank up ticket on him, and then use a mega tier 2 advancement ticket on him, just because we have the event that comes around basically every month now. And we basically, for me anyways, I always just pick the mega tier 2 unless I miss a day for whatever reason. But it's completely up to you guys if you want to choose an icon to flex on people, or if you want to get some of these goofy ass reforging garbage. But there's also tickets in here. It's a shame that they don't give away 2-star tickets, right? But if you don't have a mega rank up ticket and you're just gonna use these tickets right here, I would advise that you just keep farming for a couple weeks, and then when you get to 30 bios, then just rank him up to a 2-star that way, and then take it from there. But for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do this just to save myself time, and I just want to get this guy built. From here, I'm just gonna go ahead and just drop the mega tier 2 on him, and then I'll try to log in every day. I'll try to log in every day and just collect the one from the event to reimburse me on this investment. But let me say this before I continue any further, okay? If you don't see yourself playing with Ares, if you don't like him, like personally from the comics or as a character or his playstyle, you don't need to build this character. You already have Moon Knight. Anything Ares is gonna do, Moon Knight is probably gonna be able to do it, and maybe do it even better. Right? So if you don't like the character, I would not say you should invest in him pretty much at all. I'm just saying that's just my 2 cents so far, right? So I don't want any of you guys to see me dropping a mega tier 2 on this guy and then just jumping out the woodwork to do the same, okay? At least let me test him out for a couple days or weeks or whatever to see how good he turns out to be.